And we are live. We are live. Hope everybody's having a good Wednesday night. Thank everybody for tuning in. We'll let some people jump in here. How are you doing tonight, Phantasm420?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much. Glad to be reunited round two with you two fine gentlemen.
Well, it's always
Yep,
nice
this time
to
it's
have you.
working.
Welcome, Levi. You got your internet going on, or you?
It should be. I'm at home.
That's good. That's good. Appreciate people tuning in. Be sure to share this up and let us know the question for tonight. We've been talking about A24 movies. I think some people might not be that excited about A24 movies. So now we've moved on talking about Blumhouse. Patricia says, "Hi, guys." Hi, Patricia. Thanks for tuning in.
Hi.
I want you guys to share this up and put it really, really, really.
Levi.
Really, Levi. They're gonna think this is rigged, but it's not, I guess. But anyway, what is your looking at Blumhouse? Do you even like Blumhouse?
I do. I like Blumhouse. Justine the other day referred to their horror as kind of like popcorn horror, and that's exactly what I like in my horror movies. Just I want to have fun. I don't want to be serious, and I don't want to like overthink. And psychological thrillers are fine, but I want some good slashers and blood and just some good old fashioned horror.
And Julio says hello, hello, Julio.
Hey.
Jonathan says hello, hi, Jonathan. Welcome, Levi.
Levi, really?
Hello. I have no idea.
I'm just in West Hollywood. You should have just come to my house.
Yeah. Maybe it's this area.
Everybody watching, be sure you share this up, and I want you to comment and let us know. One, do you like Blumhouse? And if so, what are your favorite Blumhouse movies? Jay Davis says the first two Insidious movies were good, and The Visit was surprisingly good. What did you guys think of The Visit?
I actually didn't see The Visit.
You watch it, Levi?
It's been a while. I wasn't a huge fan of it. Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, I know there are a number of people that do like it, but I didn't really kind of click with me.
Okay. Scott says hello.
Hello. However, the first two Insidious movies, I love those.
Matt,
hi, Matt from Chicago tuning in. Thank you.
Hulu Blumhouse movies are garbage. Regular films are good. I kind of agree. Their little Hulu deal with Blumhouse has these little, like, I don't know, they're like just weird little movies. One of them was good about some pilgrims, but they're I agree with them. They're mostly garbage. The ones on Hulu. Have you checked any of those out?
I haven't personally, but I did watch some of the other banners or the banners that fall underneath Blumhouse, and just kind of they were lackluster, not quite that interesting.
Okay.
Levi? Oh, we're doing this again.
Really, Levi? Hello?
This time it'd be really weird if somebody was behind you. I mean, besides himself right now.
Levi.
No, it's he's with us in spirit. Okay, we hear you.
I'm here. Okay. Here, you know what? Let me hold on. I'm gonna jump out for a second. I'll jump back on in a minute. Hold on one second. I'm gonna try something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, Jonathan says, "Get Out and Us." Matt says, "Upgrade and Get Out are my jam."
Oh, I liked Upgrade.
Liz says, "Good evening."
Good evening.
Matt says the Sinister movies were a little too mean-spirited for my taste.
I had a hard time watching those.
Got to be a tie between Sinister and Upgrade. I haven't watched Upgrade, so what you guys are telling me is I need to watch Upgrade.
Yes, most definitely.
Matt says, "Hi, Amanda."
Hey, Matt.
The Hulu movie that stars Chelsea Stardust was directed good. Yoga says Upgrade was good. What's up, Yoga?
What's up, big man?
Jonathan says two Levi's for the price of one.
That's quite a sale.
See if it Levi. I don't know what's going on.
Almost.
Luigi Midge reported in. Maeve says, "I have to admit, but I didn't realize that Creep and Creep 2 were Blumhouse films. I like them both." Are you there, Levi?
Keeping us in suspense again. Did you like the Creep movies, Sergeant Horror?
Oh, I was waiting on Levi.
I know. I was waiting for anyone.
The first Creep was very a slow burn. Jason Blum got into the found footage field basically due to he passed on the Blair Witch Project. I heard. I don't know if that's like a Hollywood, fairy tale urban legend, but apparently he was offered to become involved or something. He passed on something to do with the Blair Witch. And so when Paranormal Activity came around, he's like, well, crap, I'm going to jump all over this because look what the Blair Witch did. And then he tried to do that with Creep, and the first Creep was okay. And then I really didn't like the second one. There's supposed to be a third one in the trilogy.
I just watched the first one yesterday. Hey, Levi.
Hello. Welcome, Levi.
If it goes out next time, I'm going to try to see if I can just do it without the camera and just use the microphone portion with the little icon.
Okay. So tell us something, Levi.
We're talking about Creep 1 and 2 right now. Did you see those?
I did not see either one of them.
Kind of funky, kind of weird, uncomfortable. That first one that I just watched, that was like, oh wow, it made me feel kind of gnarly. But like I enjoyed it more than some of the A24 features that we watched over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yoga says Fantasy Island was trash.
Oh, was it really?
I felt that way too. All That We Destroy or something like that. That was, I think, the Hulu film is talking about. The Gorehound has arrived. Welcome, William. Jay says, what did you guys think of Ma? When I watched it, I didn't think I liked it, but I love Octavia Spencer. Yeah, I liked Ma. I thought that was a refreshing diversity in a horror film that really, did a good job at giving us something new,
Oh, definitely. And I liked the whole kind of the revenge on the bullies aspect of it. It's like that stays with some people. And so the fact that not only did it stay with her, but spoiler alert, she
it's too late for the spoiler alert. You gave it away.
I did. I'm sorry, guys. But I didn't say no.
If you hadn't seen Ma, she done spoiled it for you, but you still should watch it. Every time I see her, she's the same actress that was in The Help, where she made the pie with some crap in it.
Right.
I liked that. That was funny. But I'd say Ma is one of their solid ones. It's original, which I think some of those films are not original at all.
Right.
Patricia says Get Out was amazing. I would say Get Out is more of a unauthorized reboot of the Stepford Wives.
Go ahead.
I just think he copied too much from the Stepford Wives. I know some people were going to hate on me for saying that, but it is what it is.
And some of the Skeleton Key as well.
Yeah,
because the Skeleton Key has some of that replacement body, similar storyline. So, and I actually only watched a very, very small portion of Get Out. And a thing about me is that I really don't care for movies that are really big on hype. Like when people are really, really like hyping it up and talking it, similar to the Lighthouse, I just kind of lose my interest because I am from LA and social media. There's some people that are just like the check-in crowd and want to be, cinephiles or whatever. And some of these movies just aren't that great. So
yeah, it's a funny story. Travis says, "What's up, Amanda? Pig dude. What's up, Travis?"
Paris.
One of my producer friends who's no longer with us, he's bounced around between LA and New York and works for film finance and things like that. He gave me a call and said, "Hey, I got this script I want you to read and take a look at it." I was like, "All right." He's like, "Tell me what you think." And he sent it, and it was the script for Get Out. And I took a look at it, and I was just like, "So you guys are looking at maybe becoming involved in rebooting the Stepford Wives?"
Right.
And they got all offended. They're like, "Huh? No, that's a script." I was like, "No, it ain't." I think we might have some Levi audio.
Yes.
Levi.
Hey, can you hear me?
Is there anybody out there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. So,
Okay.
Yes.
So tell us what's up with your Blumhouse films that you like.
Okay, so my top 5 that I have are Split, Belko Experiment, The Purge, Fantasy Island is a guilty pleasure of mine, and The Invisible Man.
Yeah, Fantasy Island, I thought that was garbage, man. I mean, I don't see how you kind of like that one.
I'm a huge fan. I grew up loving the original TV series. And what a lot of people, when they think of Fantasy Island, they don't necessarily think of the darker elements of that show. But there are some pretty dark things going on if you really look at the heart of the show. And this kind of taps into it. And in a lot of ways, it kind of, is like an origin story for Mr. Rourke and for Tattoo and for the island itself. So that's what I got out of it. It's not a great movie, but for me, it was a lot of fun.
I when I watched it, the first thing came to mind was the set design was very cheap.
Uh-huh.
And I can't remember watching another movie where I was like, the set design is cheap. I don't even know why I had that thought. It was so bad that got me. And then the whole trying to, like, the beauty of the Fantasy Island TV show was that it was horror, but it didn't beat you in the head. It didn't say it was horror. It was just terrific in certain ways. It was kind of like I don't know. It was a very dark show, like you said. And then when they came out, it was like Blumhouse's Fantasy Island. And then they tried to work in the prequel thing, and I just couldn't get involved in that.
Well, like I said, it's not a perfect movie. It's not a great movie, but it's fun. And to me, it's more fun, and that's especially now for me. You know, things that have that element that can help me escape and give me, you know, something for a couple hours, like what Fantasy Island did. Again, that's not saying it's a great movie, but it's also not saying it's bad. It's fun. It's just, like I said, it's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, Travis says the Belko experiment is incredible. John and Tony were amazing in it. I like the Belko experiment. Hey, Amanda.
Hey, sorry, I'm an idiot.
Levi was saying how he liked Fantasy Island.
And I know I'm one of the few people that actually will say that they actually like it.
I actually didn't see it. I was interested in it, though.
You didn't miss anything. Did you see the Belko experiment? That was one of the ones Travis brought up that he thought the Belko experiment was incredible.
Yeah. Belko experiment also, like I said, on my top 5 list as well too. I love how it just grabs you and doesn't let go once it starts up.
I think it was cheesy on the ending. Ain't no way that dude could have whooped their asses. You know, and that's the problem with the 3-act movies where you try to have a hero that's going to save the day and morally do the right thing. I don't want to watch no shit like that. I want to watch dude going crazy in the office and just and killing everybody just because they kill everybody, and let the bad guy win sometimes. I mean, the bad guy wins sometimes too.
Yep.
I mean, but that nerd would have got his ass whooped in real life. Is there anybody out there?
Yep, I'm here. What about?
Don't you agree, Levi? Wouldn't that nerd got his ass whooped in real life?
But the thing is, though, you have to remember, though, so it's about that escapism. It's not necessarily. It's not going to necessarily be like real life.
I don't watch no shit like that. I want to.
It takes you somewhere that might not really happen, and it does. That's fine.
Yeah. You know, and Yogi says, let the bad guy win. Julia says, Viva los Evos. People want to see the bad guy win in a movie.
Sometimes it's fun. Like, I love Hatchet at the end. Technically, Victor Crowley is the victor, you know, in the end of Hatchet. I like that. I like that sometimes there's no happy ending. Look at a movie like, what is it, The Collector?
The what?
The Collector?
Yeah. That's Martin Dunstan. He wrote most of the Saw movies, him and Patrick Melton. He's very talented. He did The Collector 2. He's working on The Collected now. I think COVID held that up. And he also has a movie called The Neighbor, which got, I think, some redneck comedian as the bad guy, which is pretty funny. He's a very talented director. I think somebody like Blumhouse needs to give him an opportunity because he definitely knows the stuff. Jonathan said, I like The Invisible Man, but the aesthetic of the set bored me and was distracting. It was apparent that all the money was spent on the lead actress' salary. I don't think so, Jonathan. Jason is pretty famous. Blumhouse is pretty famous for only paying SAG minimums to these actors. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. If you do a Blumhouse film, regardless of who you are, you're probably just going to get SAG minimum.
Yeah.
William said, I like Hush. Did y'all like Hush?
I liked it, and then in the last like 20 or so minutes, there was a little lull where I just kind of lost interest. I don't want to give anything away, not this time. A spoiler alert, but there's like an inner dialogue that takes place that really kind of, I don't know, just kind of changed the spirit of the movie for me.
Yeah, I mean, cinematically it looked good. I was at first I turned it on and I got bored and I was like, forget it. It didn't. I kind of gave it another chance because it was unique how they took someone with a disability and let them be the star and they carried the story with that. Um,
I really like that. I have a very good friend of mine who's hearing impaired, and I was really excited I want to introduce him to that movie because you're right. It's a different kind of, hero or storyline. So I really liked that part.
Yogi says Sergeant Har is cool. No, you're cool, Yogi. I appreciate that. Hunter Wayne says Blumhouse really likes burning down the house in a lot of movies. Yogi said the collector's good. Jigsaw usually wins at the end of the Saw movies. That's true. William says the Chrome Skull movies.
Oh, laid to rest. Oh, yeah.
And Matt says Dunstan and Melton do a lot of writing with Guillermo del Toro. Yeah, and Dunstan did a lot of script corrections for a lot of studios, and don't even get his name on some of the stuff. And they did the original. Was it Halloween that they did the original script for? I forget. They were attached to a pretty big project, but then they turned around having 4 or 5 writers. Let's go back to just looking at the cover of Unfriended with my ass ache.
Thanks, Pastor Batman fan. So dope. Thank you for being here.
Why would the cover of Unfriended make his ass ache?
Well, I mean, it's a bad movie to begin with.
Damn.
The sequel is even worse.
I was just going to comment on that. I didn't like the sequel because, dude stole that laptop. I don't feel bad for you, you asshole. You stole the laptop.
I unfriended the Unfriended. I didn't even watch that one.
You didn't miss much.
Blumhouse actors go for back end points. I'm sure Ethan Hawke owns an island or two now because I don't think Jason gives them any points, to be honest. Everybody that I talk to says that he pretty much Jason rides around in LA because he doesn't like how LA looks. He has a van that's blacked out so he doesn't have to look at the scenery in LA. He's a little eccentric. And there's a rumor, I have a spy out there at Blumhouse that told me that they have a vault of all these shitty horror movies that Jason's produced that he will just shelf and put them in the vault.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Well, speaking of terrible movies, I want to talk about the number one on my bottom 5. And I told Eben that if I could, I would put this movie and list it as every single one of my bottom 5. And that is Rob Zombie's Lords of Salem. I hate that movie. I cannot stand that movie. What the hell was that? I can't be the only one. I know I'm not.
I mean, how can you not like Rob putting his wife in there and they listen to a record and they walk around and they're like, oh. I think not Unfriended. I think Lords of Salem, I agree with you.
It's really bad. It's pretty bad.
I love that movie. But Levi probably loves it. I mean,
no. I don't. We had the premiere for that at the theater. In fact,
Ugh.
It was. It's not a good movie.
No, it's not. And it came out the day before my birthday that year. So me and a group of friends were really excited. Another Rob Zombie movie. Oh, we're going to go see it all together. And we all left just pissed. I felt like I wasted a birthday celebration on that movie.
See, I feel like it's funny because, I know you guys out there in LA. I got people that I'm acquaintances with all over the world. And when they like these artsy, stylish, supposedly movies that are, oh, it's so good. And when you say I didn't like it, they're like, oh, you just can't understand it because you're Southern, or you can't understand it because you don't like art films. But Lords of Salem wasn't even an art film. I mean, it was just Rob Zombie believing his hype that he could actually write a script that was really good for that one, and nobody helping him. I think Rob could be an extraordinary filmmaker if he got with the right producer that would like keep him in check and keep him in line. I mean, every great director has good producers that keep them going off the rail. And when you have somebody like Rob Zombie, he's a rock god. He's out there in the concerts. He's got huge fans. He's probably got a huge ego. He lives in a bubble because he's a celebrity. They stay out of touch with what the people actually want. You know?
And he's got a constant Sherry as these leading roles. Even in H2, when he like created an additional role for Michael's mother, just so he could put Sherry in the movie. What kind of? Oh, that was such tripe. I mean, I know that there's a lot of directors that put their significant others in movies that they're directing, but I like the like Mick Garris approach, or even Tim Burton before Helena Bonham Carter, with maybe just like the smaller cameo style roles. Like Cynthia Garris has a few here and there. She's in like Psycho 4 and Writing the Bullet for Mick Garris, but she doesn't need to be a star. And I love Devil's Rejects.
But the thing about it is, if you hire Rob to be a director, you know he's going to bring Sherry Moon. You know he's going to bring her. He's going to bring probably Richard Brake. He's going to bring probably Bill Moseley, which I love Bill Moseley. He's a really talented actor. You know, he's going to bring the other guy, I forget his name, the cowboy-looking dude that always plays the victim. You know, he brings the same people. And it's a cop-out, I think, because I've heard Rob say it, that he likes to bring these people because he could get the work done in a fast amount of time. But he's shooting a feature film with a full crew in 19 days.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of time to shoot a feature film. It's like, what the fuck are y'all doing over there, Rob? I mean, y'all sitting around taking a break every 10 minutes? I mean, you got a full crew, 19 days. You can bring any actors you want to. Like, they brought in, what was his name? Malcolm McDowell from Clockwork Orange. Brought him in for 31. And the reason, if you look in that film, that Malcolm's looking down every time he does his lines, is because they brought him in for like 2 days or 1 day, and he was just reading straight from the script on set.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. I mean, I love Rob. I want to love his work, but it's a love-hate relationship. Same thing with Blumhouse. It's a love-hate relationship. I understand that we need this popcorn, cornball type horror that's PG-13 because it attracts the teens to the theaters. It's profitable. But at the same time, it's exposing people to horror that will later on hopefully become better horror fans. But it's really, you know, not the greatest, some of the stuff that Jason's is doing. I mean, what's your least favorite, Levi?
My least favorite on Blumhouse?
Yep.
It's going to be Halloween. That movie disappointed me so much. I was so excited. I've been the biggest fan of that series, and that scene, I was so disappointed that night when we had the premiere at work. And I've given it 7-8 times of reviewing, and it hasn't gotten any better for me.
Which one was this?
Halloween.
Oh, you talking about Halloween, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. That's amazing. That was them sitting in there talking about we're gonna take, you know, how are you gonna bring Jamie Lee Curtis back? We're gonna make it like Terminator, with Michael Myers as the Terminator, but he's gonna get hurt and somebody gotta save him. You know, it was just some bull crap.
I was so disappointed. I was looking forward to that.
Get every other part.
That was my most anticipated movie that year, and I was so disappointed when I went halfway through that movie.
When they said Blumhouse and Halloween, and they said they was gonna have what was his name, the Princess Bride or Your Highness guy. Yeah, I think he did Your Highness, and he was in that TV show on HBO with the baseball thing.
Danny McBride.
Now, see, that actually excited me though, because I like Danny McBride, and he is actually a really good writer, which is one of the reasons why it actually got me excited. But then, what we got on the screen,
was exactly what he wrote on paper, because they had Marcus Dunstan attached to it and had the first script. And then when you get a script and you get like 10 people in, I mean, I'd have rather seen them fund Your Highness Part 2 or 3 or Pineapple Express 2 than to see Danny come over and try to do Halloween.
I don't know. He's a huge fan of the movies.
Just because you're a huge fan, most horror fans make shitty horror movies.
I don't know. I was just excited because I like him as a writer, and hearing that he was going to be involved with that's part of what amped up my excitement for it. Because let's face it, after the 2 Halloween movies, after the 2 Rob Zombie Halloweens, and after even Resurrection, it's like, oh, great, this could be a new, fresh take on it. Okay, they're going to ignore this. I wasn't too happy when they said, oh, we're going to ignore everything after 2, and then it was, oh, we're going to ignore everything after the first one. But still, I was still excited for it, and then just getting there and watching it on screen was...
Oh man, I will say I was pretty disappointed when they announced the 2 Lord of the Rings style additional movies, like it's Halloween Kills and Halloween, The Return of the King, whatever the last one is.
Yep.
But I thought it was just fine the way it was. I will have to say that's actually my number 1 Blumhouse. I love that movie. I really did. I loved all the Easter eggs and everything. That's me. That's where I differ. I would say that I watched The Hunt recently, and The Hunt very nearly knocked it out of its top place. But yeah, the old school horror fan in me that lives for like things like Easter eggs and franchises, I really, really liked it. But I was totally disappointed that they announced not just 1 but 2 sequels. It's just no pun intended. It's overkill and totally unnecessary.
Well, Samantha says Total Justice for Jamie movie that we didn't need. And of course, there's going to be a sequel. Hunter says Jamie Lee Curtis acting like Quaint from Jaws, even though the events of the sequels didn't exist. Yep. And Matt said, I read the Dunstan Melton Halloween Return script. It was fantastic. I agree. I agree.
I got bounced from the screening, the first screening for Halloween Kills, because I used to co-host a podcast, so I guess they have my name in red, and I didn't get to attend it. And the only reason I was gonna go was because it was a free one, not because I was looking forward to it or anything. I'll watch the movies because I'm a horror fan, and that's what a lot of us horror fans tend to do. Is just it's horror, so we're gonna watch it. But no, I didn't think that they needed to do it. And that's coming from somebody who loved the Halloween 2018. I watched it 8 times during its theatrical release.
And the doctor Zart, who's supposed to be who's basically supposed to be the updated version of Dr. Loomis. That again, just another one of those characters that just really it's almost insulting.
Yeah, I think Dunstan gave them a great script, and then studio politics got involved and screwed it up, because the Halloween that we saw in 2018 was not the Halloween that was originally presented that got Blumhouse the rights to do the movie. So whoever made the decision to bring Danny, see, they know, this is the thing about the studios like Blumhouse, is they know if they can put a Michael Myers mask on somebody, it's cheaper to do that than it is to make an original movie with a new killer and make that new person a horror icon. So they're not going to invest in finding the next Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, Leatherface. They're not going to invest in that. They're just going to recycle stuff, because Phantasm420 is going to go see it 8 times in the theater and let them make money.
Yep, right here. I live for the movie theater experience. Absolutely. That's true. I accept that scorn. That's true.
I mean, Sarah says hi. Hi, Sarah. Vicky says she lost sound. Jump back on there, Vicky. Matt said The Hunt is great. Long live Dennis Reynolds.
I really loved The Hunt. I just watched it for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and it blew me away. I missed a free screening at the Egyptian, and I regret not going after all, but that is a great movie. It skewers both sides. I thought at first it was just going to be like too politically driven, so I wasn't interested, but it's fantastic.
Dave said, I love the new Halloween, but the sequels are not necessary. I mean, the only thing you got to do is watch the Terminator series, and you see. I'm going to tell y'all, do y'all want me to predict tonight what's going to be at Halloween? The next one, what is it? Halloween Kills?
Yes, please do.
Okay, because these suckers can't really, they don't have too many original thoughts, so they go steal from other projects and piece it together, which a lot of filmmakers do. I understand
They're
that.
going to take from 2, 4, 5, 8, H2O.
As long as they don't take from H2.
So what they're going to do, if you notice at the end, I'm going to totally spoil Halloween for all y'all, but if you notice at the end, the granddaughter was sitting in there, and she's still holding on to the knife. So we're going to have this little, like, Danielle Harris can see what Michael Myers sees, and the killings passed down from generation to generation, kind of like a Thorn cult type of thing, but they're not going to call it the Thorn cult. And if you look, here's an Easter egg for you since you like Easter eggs. There's a video, there's some footage, not a footage, but there's a still leaked out of Michael Myers going into a car, getting ready to grab somebody out of the car. If you look at the height of that person, that's the granddaughter pulling somebody out of the car. It's not Nick Castle. It's not whoever the other dude was that played him. So that's how they're gonna play that one.
Huh.
So with Halloween, with the last one, it's gonna have to be a situation where Jamie Lee Curtis is gonna have to decide should she kill her own granddaughter to make this thing end.
And there'll be a white horse for you, Tony.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Now we want a freaking unicorn.
There'll be a white horse for you, Sergeant R.
And Levi's picture's blacked out. Yeah, that's because Levi got that Hollywood internet. It don't come out with the picture with the video. Matt said, I thought Halloween 2018 was fine. Nerd Report says, what about Happy Death Day? I think
that's in my top 5.
Yeah, that's fun. I like this, and I like Happy Death. I also like Happy Death Day to You.
Really?
Yeah.
It veered from the original formula. It was fun, but I didn't like it nearly as much as the first one. But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, the second one should have been Happy Death Day 2 sucks. I mean, the first one was decent, but it's like, no.
What don't you like about Happy Death Day to You?
More or less, what is there to like about Happy? I like Happy Death Day, the first one, but the second one, it's just stupid. It's like it's an unnecessary sequel. You tried to build a franchise off of it because and a lot of these studios do this crap. They try to build a franchise off of a director or off of a concept, and they only end up losing the money they made on the first one, which is what happened with Happy Death Day.
Well, no, Happy Death Day to You actually made money though.
Okay, let's look at that. Let's look at that.
I mean, I know when we played it, we were busy with it.
Yeah, but y'all out there in La La Land, where people go to premieres and to screenings to network and not really to.
No, I'm not talking about a premiere. We didn't have the premiere. I'm talking about the actual when it played in our theater for the regular engagement.
I went to one of the premiere events, the one that they had down the street at the Egyptian. Mm-hmm. That was a great event. That was so much fun.
Okay. So, Happy Death Day to You let's compare this out. It was filmed on what they disclosed as a $9 million budget.
And it made $28 million domestically.
It made okay. So you take. I gotta get my calculator out because I went to public schools.
But it made money.
No, not really. I'm about to break this down to you. Okay, let's say it is $64,686 million. 64. Okay, it did $64,686,515 at the theater worldwide. Okay. Divide that in two because theaters get half.
No, that's not true. I can tell you 100% that we did not get 50% of that box office opening weekend.
Your theater might not get half, but most.
No. This is the whole thing. I can't get too much into it, but theaters do not get 50%. They start off opening weekend. Most movies, we're lucky to get 10% of the gross. We're lucky to get that.
But y'all need to let AMC and Regal come in and negotiate because they get 50%. My people at Regal and AMC tell me that.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
It made money.
So it made $32 million. Okay. So out of the $32 million, because I'm gonna have to disagree with you that they do take roughly half. $32 million on a $9 million budget. Okay, out of that $9 million budget, they probably put about $20 million in P&A. So that's $30 million real budget in Hollywood. So they only made $2 million off of that movie. They spent $30 million to make $2 million.
Disagree on those numbers, but anyways, again, same thing. It's a fun movie, escapism, and people who saw it mostly enjoyed it.
I tell you what, I'll watch that 3, 4, 5 times before I watch The Lighthouse again.
We could agree. I ain't gonna watch either one of them, to be honest. I'll go back and watch God dag old Friday the 13th Part 1 again and watch Mrs. Voorhees kill some people.
There you go. I can agree with you.
By the way, the theaters that are open right now, like for example, in Orlando right now, Universal, one of the movies that they're showing that they have available to show is Friday the 13th, the original Friday the 13th. So you can go to see that at City Walk at Universal Orlando right now.
David said, I like the Insidious movies. Get Out was interesting. Julio said they'd be trotting along on a happy killing spree. Beef 99 says, watching from Clearwater, Florida. Welcome, Florida. Samantha says, trotting and script skipping. Hunter Wayne says, they're likely making a third movie. So, yep, they're making a third one.
Yeah.
Beef 99 said, Sergeant Horror for president. Hell no, y'all ain't giving me that mess to be in charge. Mary says, is the Velcro Experiment a Blumhouse film? I like the movie. I wished it had a better ending. I agree with you. I wished it had a better ending. I like the premise. It's like The Purge meets Office Space. That's how that was pitched.
That adds up perfectly to it, too.
Skip to the loop, my darling. A lot of math in tonight's episode. I'm sorry about the math. Robert says, are we here to talk about Blumhouse movies or are we doing taxes?
Hey, we are multifaceted. We're multifaceted, bringing information to the peoples.
So
and the Nerd Report want to stick it in here. Happy Death Day 2 May 64. You can't take the box office numbers and not factor in how much they had to pay for P&A and how much they had to pay for the theaters for showing. People don't, and how many don't we? There's if you. I don't want to expose too many people. I could do a whole live feed on this.
But Sergeant Horror, you forget that's exactly the field I work in now. So I know a lot about how the exhibition side works.
I do too. I put movies in the theater sometimes.
So, jumping back into Blumhouse, though, what about that horrible Black Christmas remake?
I didn't even bother. Nope.
Nope, not gonna do it.
It was,
But again, you gotta. There's fuzzy math and there's Hollywood math. And Hollywood math, everybody knows in Hollywood that they don't give away their exact budget. There's some shady number crunching people in Hollywood. Sarge, you are wrong. Move on. Whatever, Robert. Go talk to the people at AMC at the corporate office.
No, thank you.
Go talk to the people at Amazon who's trying to buy AMC, but they're too scared to pull the trigger.
You know, a movie that I had in my top 5, but after I watched The Hunt, I ceremoniously removed it, was The Green Inferno.
That was an unauthorized reboot of what was the Cannibal Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
That was that big dummy, what's his face?
Eli Roth.
Yeah, that guy. I don't know why they let him make horror movies, but you know, it is what it is. I like Hostel, but it's like if I was the producer, writer, or owned the rights to Cannibal Holocaust, I would have sued the crap out of them for rebooting that. Lena says, was curious about Black Christmas, but didn't think it was worth the ticket purchase. Heck no. And that's the way we punish these people, is by the power of the purse strings. When they make a crappy movie or a reboot, don't go see it. Let them lose the money. I ain't saying bootleg it, but wait till it's on the VOD or on Amazon Prime. Like, look at A24. All their damn movies is on Amazon Prime for free. That's how you tell they ain't making no money off of them, is they got put on Amazon Prime.
Well, while that's true, I have to say that as a consumer, as a moviegoer, an avid moviegoer, I have fears about like closing theaters and rising costs in the movie theaters. Like I prefer to watch movies at a movie theater because there's some that just absolutely need to be seen in that environment.
Yep.
So
that's why you have an in-house studio.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a pretty nice setup myself and everything, and a projector screen and whatnot. But there's nothing like going to the movies for me.
Yep.
And just for the record, Happy Death Day, the first one, was filmed on roughly a $5 million, $4.8 million budget.
Uh-huh.
And it did $125 million in the box office.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it made a lot more money than the sequel.
Well, a lot of sequels don't do as well as the original. I mean, it's not everything is Avengers, not everything is Star Wars, where it makes more than the previous. I still say it's still a fun sequel.
It is a fun sequel, and I'm glad it's not the Avengers because I'm kind of, it was a little much with all those movies, and yeah, I'm kind of glad it's not. And speaking of sequels, I actually prefer Insidious 2 to the original Insidious movie. And I prefer Paranormal Activity 2 to the original as well. I think that sometimes sequels are superior to the original movies.
I mean, the Insidious movies are all right. What's that space that they're in there? Is it called the Further?
The Further, yeah.
You know where they got their name from, don't you?
Where?
The Further was a bus that they used back in the 60s for the Kool-Aid acid test where they drive across country dipping acid.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Seems appropriate.
Yep. Looking at some of the comments, Hunter said that you got people threatening to kill the writer's director of Black Christmas, so it must be worth checking out.
Hunter, it's horrible. It's really bad. It's not even a get drunk and watch this because it's so bad. It's just bad.
That's terrible because the 06 remake was really good. That one was really, really good, like gruesomely good.
Yep.
And Julia says it's all about movie theater popcorn. No, it's not. I hate those big things of popcorn, nasty people's hands in it. And we got people fighting in the comments. Travis says Scream 2 is better than Scream 1.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And Lena said, Travis, you better shut your damn mouth. Damn. David said, I like the Insidious movies. I mean, has Blumhouse actually made let's talk about The Purge. I like the concept of The Purge. And if The Purge was real, would you guys participate?
No.
You would not purge, Levi.
I would not.
Phantasm420?
No, I would protect the homestead. I would not participate. It felt like here in West Hollywood, watching a lot of the recent riots and looting that took place, I could see it from our rooftop. We were up on the roof watching, and it looked like the whole city was falling apart every direction that you looked. And it was intimidating. And no, I wouldn't participate. No.
Okay, everybody watching this, comment right now. Would you purge if the purge is real?
Be honest.
Praise be the new founding fathers. When I heard that damn siren, a hunting I'd go. I'd be like, that'd be my favorite holiday. Forget Halloween. I wouldn't want. I'd be like, favorite holiday, purge. Jay Davis says, hell yeah. Robert said, I would. Scott says, no. Mary says, no, I would have to run. The only running I'm doing is to my fridge. Liz says, we know you would, Sarge. If I got a good group with me, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm talking about is you got to have a group you trust. Definitely, Julio definitely would purge. We had to purge in LA. I feel I would have to go on to defense. Vicky says, no, I would not participate. I'm sorry, guys. I'd purge. Lena says, no lie. Yes. That's what I'm talking about.
She's a punk rocker. That's why.
Matt says, I'm a lover, not a purger. I love them and purge them. Purge them and love them. Says, faux shizzle.
That's awesome. That's my favorite thing you've ever said.
Ramon says, yes, as long as I was armed to the T. David says, I really don't have anyone I would honestly would want dead at the moment.
At the moment.
And then now they talk about Scream 2 was not better than Scream. But I don't want to know. You know, we got some purges on the live feed. Chase says no. Liz says, can I give you a list of people there? Sure.
So, Sergeant Hart, what did you think about the other Purge movie?
Oh, shizzle. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the sequels?
I think they was faux shizzle.
I love it. You know, I actually found the first Purge movie kind of disturbing, and I didn't partake of any of the others myself personally. Sarge, what do you think?
All right, I'll stop saying it. I'll wear stuff out. I like the Purge movies. I just think they got too political. I mean, they made it about politics, and they made it about, like, you know, this whole sub story. And I mean, I just think people have enough aggression inside them that one day just go out and let it loose. You know, kind of like one of my favorite non-horror movies, The Other Guys, where he's like, I'm a peacock. I just want to fly.
Let me fly. I love that movie.
You know, I'm a purger. I just want to purge. And Vicky says, what weapon would you use to purge? I would have 2 9mm Glocks. I'd have a meat cleaver and a machete and a straight razor. I'd have my shotgun for close quarters when I'm going to the house. And I'd have me probably like an M16A2 service rifle like they gave us in Marines for long range.
Not that you've thought about this.
Group purge. I mean, I kind of, during my years in the Marines, went purging in other countries. So, you know,
Hey.
that's kind of what war is. They drop you off and say, go forth and take over. I mean, we said one country, the only thing behind us was the ocean. So it was either press forward or go in the ocean. So, you know.
Well, glad you're back here with us.
William says I would go Punisher on a few that need purgings like the pedos of the world. Gator don't play that. Gator want to walk around. He wants some walking around money.
Don't go chasing waterfalls. I love Michael Keaton in that. He keeps quoting TLC.
He says it's tempting. I mean, I'd go purge, but I don't want no scrubs. I'd purge some scrubs. Vicky says excellent choices. Julie says laughing my apple off.
Mm-hmm.
Says you have never done that. And Liz says, Levi, are you still there? Levi, are you with us?
I am still here.
You have no desire to purge.
No.
But what did you think of the movie?
Well, I can't say that. It's better I don't say that.
Okay. But what did you think of the movies? Do you think they got progressively worse?
I enjoy them for what they are. Yes, I agree. They did get too political as they got further along in the series, but at the same time, it kind of mirrors what's going on without getting into all that. But overall, I mean, again, it's escapism. It's not meant to be taken seriously, and it's just 90 minutes of escaping for what's going on.
That's what I like. That's what I prefer about my horror. I'm going there for an escape. That's why I prefer like slasher movies and kind of the ones that brink on, well, maybe ridiculous or maybe totally not possible, because there's plenty of real life horror and I'm just not interested in watching that on the big screen.
Yeah.
I can watch it on the.
I watch horror for the wrong reason. I like to compare notes.
Yeah, that makes sense. I wanted to ask you guys about a movie that didn't make my top or bottom 5, but I found it really interesting, was Cam. Did anybody watch Cam?
Nah.
No, it's about a cam girl and her identity, her online identity gets taken over by like the virtual, like some sort of virtual spirit kind of thing. It's interesting.
I think they dumped that on Netflix, didn't they?
Yep. It was interesting though. It was definitely more, entertaining than some other movies. Like there was one called Incarnate I watched with Aaron Eckhart, and that one just that was horrible.
Speaking of horrible, what did y'all think of Amityville: The Awakening?
I didn't get to that one.
I'm glad it was free.
Oh.
I mean, they took the dude from Shameless. I think he did a great job in Shameless, and just stick him in the bed and made him like a paraplegic.
Oh.
And then Truth or Dare. I know you guys love Truth or Dare.
Nah.
I did watch Delirium, the one with Topher Grace. That one was pretty good.
I'm trying to think which one Delirium was. Was that the one where was it on Netflix?
Mm-hmm. And he's on house arrest after several years in a mental institution?
Nah, that's not the one I'm thinking about. Nah, I didn't like Delirium. I
And
am going to check out Upgrade.
gotta watch
Upgrade is
Upgrade.
it's on my bottom list.
Really?
Upgrade? Yes.
Did any of y'all like The Gallows?
I didn't watch The Gallows.
I watched like 2 minutes and was like, no, thank you. It got to act too.
Split. Any takers for Split? I love Split.
I love Split. I'm so glad that he got to make his trilogy that
Yes.
we never, 20 years ago looked like was never going to happen. And then finally got the last two parts. And Split, I thought was perfectly done.
I loved it. It was really exciting. And then followed by Glass.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
It's all right. I mean, the first, I like the concept of, could somebody with multiple personalities manifest something physically? And the girl that was in The Witch, she was in Split, and she did an amazing job acting. I think she'll be a talent that have a long, great career. But I'm just, I don't know.
As someone, the fact, I remember when I worked at a theater in Florida back when Unbreakable came out, 20 plus years ago. And that to me was the last great M. Night Shyamalan movie. And it's a very divisive film. And everyone had been wanting for years to see, because he had mentioned it was supposed to be part of a trilogy. And everyone wanted to see it, and it just never looked like it was going to happen. And then when we got Split, and then we got Glass, getting to see those final two chapters and then not only that, the reveal that Split actually was Unbreakable too. That for me still is one of those great moments.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I don't know. When I hear M. Night Shyamalan, it's like he's either going to do a hell of a good movie or it's going to suck. There ain't no in between on his movies.
Well, exactly. The Visit is the same thing. I did not like The Visit, although I do appreciate the fact The Visit helped us get Split and Glass.
Yeah, I didn't like Glass. Glass is stupid.
Disagree.
Also disagree. I really liked it. Then again,
if y'all got such bad taste in movies, huh?
Well, let me ask you this: that's not Blumhouse, obviously, but what were your thoughts of Unbreakable?
It's kind of comic booky. It was okay. That superhero.
And exactly, and that's what Split and Glass are. They're all three comic book films.
Yeah, but they tried to throw Split into horror because nobody was really feeling it as a superhero movie.
I disagree there again.
I mean, they can't compete against the Avengers or Batman.
And it was actually like a great surprise to find out, though, that it was part of the superhero movie. That because it did seem like a horror movie at first. There are horror elements to it, and then you find out it's like, oh snap, it's actually part of Unbreakable. Like Levi said, Unbreakable too.
Yeah, I think Unbreakable and Split were solid, but it is what it is. I'm not a comic booky type of guy. I'm more of a serial killer, purger type of dude.
Really? The mask says otherwise.
I'm trying to think. I really don't have. This is going to be interesting because there's so many of these Blumhouse movies out here, and I know a lot of people got a lot of different opinions.
Let me ask you, because the bottom one on my bottom list is Ouija. What are your thoughts on Ouija?
Cookie cutter horror. I mean, they followed the formula. Sometimes cookie cutters make money, and then sometimes they lose money. Look at the Bye Bye Man. They played by all of Hollywood's rules when I forget who it was made the Bye Bye Man. And it lost money and didn't resonate. And I think more and more, especially in this internet age, where there's so much content being generated and indie filmmakers are getting just as good as the studios on managing budget and getting the product to the fans. I think we're going to see a big change in the way content is developed and the way content is consumed and the way these theaters and especially, the way people like Blumhouse operate.
Yeah, something I really didn't like about Ouija, however you pronounce it, is that similar to Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, you have this main character who's kind of antagonizing the plot, and she's like, "Oh, we need to do this, we need to do that," and it's like clearly she keeps getting people killed and in trouble, and it's a pretty irritating character trait. So that's what really took me out of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, we just hit on the 1 hour mark. We're going to have another live feed Friday and Sunday to talk about these Blumhouse movies. If you guys hadn't had a chance, go to madmonster.com and vote on the poll and let us know what your favorite Blumhouse movie is. I guess Levi didn't want to have a last word. Any last Phantasm420?
I really enjoyed this list a lot more. Obviously, we had a lot more choices than we did with A24. I stand by Halloween, but really probably The Hunt is one that The Hunt may be, for saving face, for sake of saving face, I'll say then that The Hunt is a close second to Halloween.
I'd say this is funner than, Blumhouse does this better than A24, but that's a whole nother week. I enjoyed discussing some of these. They're not my favorite in the horror genre, but the thing about it is at least they're making horror movies, because if Blumhouse wasn't there, then we wouldn't have a lot of the horror movies that we have. But
it's true. I
appreciate everybody tuning in and watching. I think Levi's popped back in. Do you got any last words, Levi?
Just that it's been a lot of fun again. I'm glad we were able to at least get me on audio wise for most of it. And yeah, this is a lot of fun. There are a lot of great movies out there, and like I said last week, there are a lot of films where just because you or me or anyone else don't like it, there's an audience for it somewhere, and that to me is the best part.
That's true. People are entitled to like what they want, what they do, and what they don't. Some are right, some are wrong. It's all about what you personally taste. I had fun with you guys tonight. I appreciate you guys sitting in and watching. Everybody take care. Go to madmonster.com and vote on the Blumhouse polls. Stay safe out there. We're out.